welcome to my camera not working all of a sudden. Oh, there we are. Welcome to episode 181. Why? Why do we do what we do? Why do we play the games? We got McMurray with us. How you doing today?
What's up?
We're gonna have Reese here in a little bit, but he is taking care of some kittens that they found at the ranch, and Mom Cat abandoned them. So he is in the process of being a good person and getting the kittens taken care of. So he'll be with us shortly.
What a fucking Disney princess over here, man.
Right?
Listen to
right?
this.
I know.
I'm going to
He
raise
said-
bobcat pups and they're going to be my best friends.
He's such a good guy. Telemachus starts us off with, I tried building a house of lies, but I kept smelling rotten cheese.
That'll happen.
Yeah. His cat in the house saying sup. Richard Keenan saying hello. Charles Latora, we play some of the games. There's always a big pile of untouched. And Scala Gremlin's here saying hi all. How you doing, Scala? Glad you could make it, buddy. So, no, as far as I'm aware, there's no sales going on over at Wiley Games right now. I don't think. But
I do not know, but use RWR McMurray. Get your 20% off. Go get some cool shit, man.
Yep. Or, if you can't remember that, not Jay.
Yep.
That'll work too.
There's also no restrictions on those anymore. So if you've already used them, you can use them again.
Yep. And tell your friends and people you game with, if they're kind of on the fence as to whether they want to get into it or not. It works on the PDFs, 20% off of the PDF of the core rules is what, $1.40 off, making it like nothing. Almost damn near close to it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely give it a chance. And then what is happening this weekend, and unfortunately I'm gonna miss it, boo, is the Weird War weekend for Wiley Games. It's his annual spooktacular gaming event where I think they're going to have the annual Revenant hunt per usual.
Accurate.
McMurray, you're going to have Ghost Pirates or something to that effect?
Ghost Pirates, buddy.
There you go. Man, I am so upset I'm going to miss it. I love my brother to death, and the celebration of him retiring after being in the reserves, regular Army, and National Guard for 26 or 27 years is, only happens once, right? But man, I'm gonna miss getting those games in. So, but we do in less than a month. We'll be back over in the Kansas City area for Tacticon. So, but you're gonna be missing that one, right, McMurray?
I am working through Tacticon, correct?
Boo!
Unfortunately,
Boo, sir, boo.
Yeah, it happens.
So, something that Jay Wiley told me a while back is that he is wanting to do just a monthly game day. Nothing special. Just come on over on a Saturday. We get a game played and just have fun. He's hoping to do that like once a month. So maybe in December, it'll be on a weekend where both you and I can make it over.
That'd be outstanding.
We can just have a day of just playing some games.
Yeah,
So
it's always a good time.
yeah,
Between the 2 or 3 of us, there's more than enough games to play for quite some time.
exactly. So I am going to be doing CJ3 in January. It will be the weekend of Martin Luther King Day. So that was second or third um, weekend of January is when we're going to be doing it. It's going to be at the winery, just like the J3s are. So we're definitely going to be having that happen. Um, Hopefully, we'll be able to get Copeland and Joel over and Mr. Burke. I know Reese has stated that he is wanting to come up for it, and hopefully you can too as well, Mr. McMurray.
Yeah, man, that'd be outstanding. I'm working on it. I just don't have a schedule yet. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. And Greg and Ashley said they might come down for that. So that'd be cool.
That is definitely further north than most things that go on, so that makes sense. That'd be pretty cool.
So that's what we got coming up. I've been painting. I haven't shared these yet out on the boards, but I got some dwarfs done. Check these guys out.
Oh damn! Are we maintaining the 1 unit a week thing?
Yeah. So here they are. You got some blue cloaks going on them, and that here's another stand.
That's extra badass, man.
They're actually pretty easy to paint, all in all. I did a new. I did something new with them. I don't know if I like it or not. The more I look at them now, the more I do think it turned out better than I expected. And what I did is, of course, I primed them white. Then I painted the shields and the weapons heads, the hammers, the axes, and whatnot, silver. And then over the entire strip, everything, I hit it with the contrast snakebite leather. Oh shit! Fire, save the matches. I'll get that later. Snakebite leather across everything, and then went back. And for instance, the cloaks, I went back and painted those white again to put the blue cloaks on, and then I did silver dry brush for the chainmail, and then hit the tops of the shield designs with the silver. Painted their facial hair white and the horns white, and then went over contrast with different colors for their facial hair. So I think it turned out pretty good. It didn't take hardly any time at all to get them painted up, and at what is this, 6 inches, they don't look bad. At 3 feet, they look pretty damn good.
Yeah, man.
So that's 2 units. The next unit up for painting, crossbowmen.
For the Dogs of War, or for the dwarves?
Still Dogs of War. Well, the dwarves are part of the Dogs of War army also.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, that's the great thing about Dogs of War. I can literally have anything in the army.
Oh, outstanding.
There's Mr. Reese. How are the kittens?
Fair. They've got something in their stomach and they're getting warm right now. So
outstanding.
But they're biting the shit out of you?
No, they don't have enough strength to do that right now. Nor do they really have teeth. So
next week.
Yeah. So all right. So we have our own Disney princess.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. Are you gonna post pictures of these little dudes or what?
I got a picture of him.
Oh, well.
Oh,
the rest of us,
oh,
I
the
guess, just don't
kittens?
rate.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, he was just informing me that he was going to be late because of the kittens.
Oh, yeah. Blame the innocent little animals.
Share screen. Let's go here. Let's go here. Here we go. There's the little guys. So.
Oh. So long ass tails, aren't they?
Yep.
So. There you go.
They get real nervous in a room full of rocking chairs.
Yes, they do. So. Reese, I was showing off my dwarves that I had got painted
Awesome.
up.
Awesome.
So.
They, yeah, they're with us for a short time until they can eat solid food, and then back to the barn they go, because we desperately need cats in the barn right now.
Wait, are they bobcats or are they just kittens?
They're just kittens.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
So they're barn cats. So
That's awesome.
Yep. So. Yeah, that's what's going down. Reese, I was commenting that we are definitely doing CJ3.
Okay.
I'm reaching out to the guy who has the winery, who owns the winery tomorrow, to solidify it up, and then I'll be sending out a thing via Discord and the Facebooks to make sure I got, see who all's wanting to be a part of it. So, because Donna told me, you got to find out now because we got to start figuring out food.
it is coming up. It's what,
Yeah.
2 months away?
2 months. Yeah, it's well, let's see. The rest of October, all of 3 months. It's 3 months away. So, yeah. But I think I might be able to talk her into letting me smoke a brisket. And the brisket I smoked this past weekend for Jay, my brother's shindig this weekend. I get 20 pounds of pork shoulder and 15-pound brisket, and oh man, that's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. So, but we're not here to talk about food. Well, we'll talk about food later because we always do. But this episode, why? We're going to talk about why we play the games we play, why the particular games we play, why we play games in general. What is it that we get out of playing these games? And you guys in the texture, y'all are more than welcome to join in on the conversation by writing it in as y'all normally do. But for me, the very base reason why I play these games is for the social aspect. To hang out with friends. The game is almost immaterial, and we lost Reese for some reason. The game itself is immaterial. It's fun to roll dice and push the miniatures around, or if you're doing a board game, the counters or the blocks, pushing those around is fun. But the real reason why I play is for the camaraderie. Getting to be able to hang out with McMurray, or getting to be able to hang out with Jay Wiley, or a lot less frequently these days for whatever damn reason, Steve, because Steve's a blast to hang out with.
Steve is truly a peach.
Yeah, so it's growing up. I wasn't part of any fancy cliques. Definitely wasn't a jock. I wasn't one of the cool kids. I didn't get asked to go to any of the parties. I didn't get to sit at the cool kids table. So what did I do? I wound up getting, uh, you know, getting a group of friends together, and we started, uh, uh, decided, you know, what are we gonna do when all the other kids are at the parties? What are we gonna do? Well, let's have our own get together. Okay, well, what are we gonna do? Just sit around and look at each other? No, well, hey, let's play this game. Okay, great. And that's where it started. And in 1987, my brother Jay, got a hold of Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader and some Space Marines and some Space Pirates, and we played that. And then I had the Star Wars FASA Star Wars game for a while. So I started getting into that, and we played that quite a bit. But yeah, it's and we went from there, ending up in about 1991, getting a hold of some ship models, and for some cockamamie reason decided, hey, let's decide to do our own rules, and started writing rules with Chris Copeland. And here we are 30 plus years later. I still haven't finished them. I'm real close though. I'm real close. I'm actually looking to maybe self-publish in 2025 for it, but for no other reason than it gives me a set of rules that I'm comfortable with, that I can sit down and pal around with my buddies with. So, how about you, McMurray? I mean, are you this kind of the same way when you're not solo gaming, obviously?
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a huge chunk of it, whether it's with you guys or the guys that I game with around here, or just kind of random folks, or out evangelizing the good word of Whiteley Games or Fistful Lead or whatever else. That's obviously outstanding. I enjoy the hobby aspect of it more and more and more as I go. I used to play with silver miniatures all the time. For the gaming and semi-competitive aspect of it, I don't really give a shit at this point. But a big chunk for me is also the history and the reading, the planning, and the background knowledge and whatnot that you get into, and then running with that and seeing how that works out if I try and do stuff, which is a big part of the solo gaming. Not so much with the miniatures, but certainly quite frequently with Hex Encounter games, or whether it's Hex Encounter, Area Movement, or Point to Point. You get my point.
Yeah.
Historical board war games. Big fan. Been messing with Great War at Sea here. Looking more and more into that, which is outstanding. That's a huge system. It's like ASL, but World War I naval, in terms of there's a couple starter sets that you can run with, and then there's 20 something probably expansions that all have various scenarios, various newer ships, all kinds of stuff. So that is truly a rabbit hole to dive down. That I'm quite excited to get my teeth into and everything else. Right. Especially looking at the base combat seems fairly straightforward, like the basic tactical combat. So that's a good sign. I know that the advanced combat is where the weight comes in, and that's substantially more complicated. But Um, the base combat looks beyond doable and acceptable and manageable, especially even in some slightly larger contexts. I found a couple of really good YouTube channels. By a real couple, I mean I found one really good YouTube channel that I think will be able to help me out a ton. So that's helpful. But even then, a good amount of that is still, because it's an ASL sort of thing where you need to have a whole bunch of stuff sometimes to get a hold of it. Hey, Jeffy's here.
Hi, gang.
Look at how pretty that guy is. God damn, it must be hard work being that pretty all the time.
I know, right? I mean, look at this. You can't eat that.
Hell no, man. Hell no, buddy. So pretty you had to take some of them things out, or else you'd be just
Yeah, it was too much.
impregnating women everywhere you went. Like you just look at them and just boom.
Conway 20 had to remember that.
Hello, darling.
But yeah. So that's a big chunk of it. The reading and scenario stuff has really, like I said, become a big shift in fun, or source of fun for me. So that's quite outstanding. It's nice that the first, probably 6 or 7 years I did any sort of miniature wargaming, it was all 40K, which there's no, like, scenario design isn't a thing. Like, you can make up, oh, well, here we are, we're fighting these guys. That's all right, whatever, cool. But it's not the same. And so my enjoyment and love for reading and learning about history was kind of not at odds, but certainly competing for time and brain power and interest. And now I don't have to worry about that because 40K is kind of goofy. Knocked that shit off, and started running with the historical stuff, which is, at least for me, infinitely more entertaining and interesting. But yeah. So long answer to a short question. All kinds of shit.
Right. Let's see. Scala says it's all about the camaraderie. I can get the tactical experience with PC. Hey, there you go. Somewhere in Saigon.
Big Murray.
There you go,
Yeah.
Reese Poo Poo. That got here early. That got here fast, dog. You didn't even know if you were going to have that by Tacticon.
It all got here. Well, not all. Most of it got here early. I've got 2 copies of this new set.
You better get those things painted up.
Mhm.
What?
I'm going to. I've got.
Dog
This is a
Patrol.
brand spanking new set, straight from the Ukraine. I've got 2 copies of it, and then I've got 2 copies of this brand spanking new set.
Shootout. There you go.
So
Well, that's fair, and those are real nice and cool. But we need to keep our focus where it needs to be.
which is on the 47 Viet Cong I need to do.
No, on the 3 hookers. Or are there 3 or 4 in that box?
2.
Well, you got men. That'll get you 3.
I gave my speed paints away today.
There you go.
They are gone.
Make me sad.
Block paint and wash to success for Jeffy, baby.
That's all I got left.
All you got left, there's a few hundred of them.
Yeah, about right. I did keep my GW stuff, though. My GW paints, whatever they are.
Oh, you kept your contrast paints?
Yeah, that stuff.
There you go.
So yeah, Scala was saying that it's all about the camaraderie. I can get the tactical experience with a PC game. I can get the creative expression just painting the minis. The actual game is all about the social aspect.
Very true.
How about you, Hexy? Why do you sit down and play your games?
Because I want the South to win.
God damn, that's got to be depressing.
It's fun, man. I mean, I've always had to drop a, I don't know, it's not as vast as some of you all with different generations or ages or eras or whatever. But I mean, I've always had that touch of Civil War and touch of World War II blood in me to, you know, whether it's watching a movie or when I was a kid playing GI Joe or something like that. And always live. I mean, of course, where I lived, shit, Civil War. You walk out the door and it smacks you in the face everywhere I've lived. And well,
Right.
as a kid, anyhow. Plus, it's just flat out fun.
Now you're a primarily, almost exclusively a solo gamer.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, what? Obviously, the social aspect isn't a key feature for you. Is it just the getting into the history of that particular battle that you play? Because most of your games are just cover a particular battle, like the Battle of Stalingrad or the Battle of Gettysburg or Shiloh.
Well, definitely the Civil War, Napoleonic stuff for sure. World War II stuff can be, you know, I mean, like right now I'm fighting, I guess, Kasserine in BCS, but the solo part, I mean, prime example is, so they had the two GVACW get-togethers, and then they had the La Bataille get-together. And I mean, I could have gone up there and got a hotel room, stayed for 3 or 4 days and played, but my blood and patience level won't do that. So I want to go up and visit and just, you know, meet some of the people that I don't get to see, but on a rare occasion. And maybe I'm only there, usually I'm only there for a few hours. And then I want to come home and play with my stuff. So
Right. Let's see here. Scal says the stories are also a huge component for me. Yeah, it's that again, for when I do miniature gaming, it's about the stories that, you know, that we can tell, and not necessarily the story of the game. For me, it's the stories about when we were playing. You know, about the interactions that we've had with the other players, more so than, you know, and yet to an extent, the stories of the game. You know, what happened in the game, or you know, the story being told by the scenario.
you know, Friday or Saturday night, I could wander down a mile and a half from here to the local gaming store,
Mm-hmm.
and that place is packed with people playing Magic the Gathering or 40K or something like that.
Right.
But I'm not, you know, one of these nights I might drift down there just to look, but nothing against anybody. I don't care for it. It's just not me.
Don't forget your Febreze.
Oh yeah, good point.
And
Yeah.
your nose plug.
What?
And the nose plug.
Well, I've seen most of them. You know, I've been in the store when there were people in the back gaming, and they got a decent sized space back there. I mean, they moved from the building they were in to another one, so they got a bigger play area. And I mean, you go in the front door to where the store is. The storefront's probably 50 feet across by 30 feet deep, which is actually good size for what they're carrying in there. But then the back room, you walk around the side and go into, it's like a bingo parlor. I mean, that's how nice it is. And they got quite a few tables in there set up. It looks like an old high school cafeteria with the way they got the tables.
Yeah.
But there will be people in there. I mean, that place will be packed with people doing that Magic, and I think they said D&D, so people do D&D stuff in there.
Oh, call Toddy.
Just not the. Oh, now let's address that. I'm not necessarily a complete solo gamer because Andrew, me, and Wardrobe, we've done a few things online, granted, but as far as me face to face, I've tried it a few times, and I'm just not, like I said, I don't have the patience to sit there for 8, 10, 12 hours or a couple of days and play with. I can't do it. It's not me.
You're doing it wrong.
It's just not me.
Richard says, Christmas morning, 1978. My best friend showed up with a copy of Africa Corps. It changed my life forever. I can see that.
That'll happen.
Nord says hello. How you doing, Nord? Welcome aboard, sir. Glad to have you. Richard says, and then around 1984, I bought a copy of the Caverns of Doom miniatures game, and we were all hooked. Yeah, that'll do it to you. Nord says, I quit 40K because of the price tag, the players, and Games Workshop, McMurray.
Yep.
Yeah, the Games Workshop triumvirate. The cost, the people, the company. Chris Long A says, hello, ladies, Kid, and Jeff. Thanks. Thanks.
I'll take Kid.
Yeah, right? Let's see. Nord also says, Hexy, how do you expect the South to win when you keep getting their commanders killed? Well, I mean, there is that.
Scala. He's got a point there.
Hexy doesn't have the patience for long games. What if a game you play that takes less than a week? Again, it's not the length of the game that's the problem. It's the length of the time he has to spend with those people that's the problem.
Plus, I mean, a week is a pretty average game. Some people would even say it's a big game, you know?
Yeah.
I pace myself.
Jeff's all about the motion of the ocean, not the size of the game.
Exactly. Nord says, for me, I know that I'm the toughest opponent most of the time. I like to try to outsmart myself, if you follow me. As far as playing with others, I've never really had great experiences. It can be difficult. It can be difficult to find a group of people, even one person, that you really want to sit down and play a game with. I've been lucky every time I've moved someplace. I've found at least one person that I can game with on a regular basis. So I definitely lucky there. Walkabout says I'm mostly play solo or online, as no one here plays historical games. I'm surrounded by GW gamers.
Assholes.
Synonymous. They're synonymous.
I'm just kidding.
It says whenever you want to learn Magic the Gathering, just ask me. Actually, I should have went to the MTG Pro Tour. There you go. If you want to learn how to play Magic the Gathering, honestly, Magic the Gathering is not a bad game. It's just, again, with Games Workshop stuff, it's the people. What about you? What about you, Reese? Why do you play the games?
It's a wonderful question I ask myself every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always been a history nut. Always. Some of the first books I read were history books. And it never quit. I've always been a little bit crafty, always been a little bit mechanically inclined. And so doing something with my hands has always appealed to me. So the building and the painting is just as fun to me as the game is. And I like narratives. I like working on narratives. So I'm more of a campaign gamer than anything. And I know that my social media doesn't always show that, but it is the case.
All right. Yeah. Then also along those lines, the reason I do historical gaming is I want to learn more about that time period. Finding out, learning the I like learning about the kind of like the side things that happen during World War II. You know, everybody knows about Midway. Everybody knows about Guadalcanal. Everybody knows about the big Battle of the Bulge, right? But there are things like learning about uh, old 666, the B-17 that was essentially rebuilt from a wreck where, with this flight crew that nobody wanted to fly with, and they didn't want them to go up to these missions, and so they took the plane away and they started building this airplane and started started instead of being in a squadron, they just started, you know, almost like mercenaries for for the Army Air Corps in the Pacific. You know, learning about that type of stuff. It's just it to me, you know, learning about that type of stuff, and then, you know, building models to represent, you know, what you're looking at, and then, you know, figuring out a way to play a game with your friends with these models, so you can talk about, you know, talk about these stories, right? So it's again, it's back to, you know, hang out with friends and just, you know, BSing with everybody. You know. Hexy, what you got on the table right now?
Baptism by Fire, the Battalion Combat System. And
Okay.
that's what Todd and I are going to stream Friday and Saturday night.
Oh, very cool.
We're going to vassal stream it. He, you know, Todd is with that system. He doesn't, he never, I don't know, I guess he just never grasped it completely, and I love it. So we're going to have a go and see if we can't get him get him down with it, and maybe help me. And I'm hoping we're going to get, you know, we've already pre-posted, so I'm hoping we're going to get a lot of people that do know the game. Nord's already popped some good information on the posts that I made last night, so get some people like it. It's not a hard game. It's just different than anything else you ever play.
Right.
This is GCACW. Sorry.
No, BCS.
Ah, damn it! I knew that. My bad. Oh, I'm sorry. That's on me.
Yeah, Reese, what are you? I know you're working on the Vietnam guys, but what specifically are you working on right now?
I'm sitting here thinking about kit bashing some Marines, or
All right.
figuring out how to kit bash some North Vietnamese RPG gunners because I'm short two. So I gotta come up with 2 RPGs.
Let's see here. Go back and look at. Where it says the bad thing with 40K players. Bad thing is the 40K players then move to historical miniatures and ruined that too. Yeah, that can tend to happen as well. That's what happened with me in Austin. Had all these 40K players, and I then found. That's when I found World War II 15 millimeter by Battlefront. That game.
Flames of War.
That's it. Jesus Christ!
Very good game.
Yeah, it's a great game. Love the game. Again, the only type of games I was able to find though were tournament games, and people were taking it way too seriously. So, you know, I was, whenever I would go to a tournament, I always made sure that my army was, you know, somewhat historically based, and I always got just stomped to death by these ahistorical, army lists, and
Well, yeah, you went to a tournament.
yeah, it was like, and then finally I convinced one of the tournament organizers to, hey, why don't we do it as, you know, the unit that you put on the table needs to have some historical viability, and not just historical out of the book, saying, yeah, this is the second SS out of the book. You can't have 12 tigers in the second SS, even though the book says you can, because I don't think the second SS had 12 tigers, available to them at any one time.
That's kind of wild. I never ran into that stuff because Battlefront used to do that pretty well. It used to be that I used to, you run into people who are playing, 501st Heavy or Schwerer Panzerabteilung or something, but it'd just be people cherry picked what list to play with. But,
Yeah.
it's such as life, whatever. Again, that's what happens when you play in a tournament setting.
But the tournament was okay. Yes, you got points for doing well on the table, but then also the you got extra points if you brought a bit of a little bit of a history write up type of thing, to show that you took some time to research what you were playing. I mean, it wasn't going to win or lose the tournament for you, but it got looked at, and whoever had the best little write up got an extra prize type of thing. So just kind of give an incentive to start looking at it more historically than just I looked in the army book, and this is the list I put together type of thing. So yeah, it was cool. But then I moved away, and I moved up here, and not a whole lot of gaming up here because, well,
Not a whole lot of much up there.
sticks. What's that?
Not a whole lot of much up there.
No, but my gaming partners consist of Jay and my nephew, and we get together about once every 2 weeks or so to play some sort of game. Now, Reese, you said you're more of a campaign gamer. Now, how do you go about? In what sense do you do?
So, a long time ago, I used to draw out a hex map for every single campaign that I ran, and then it was I would move on the hex map with the force I was using, and then based on different die tables, I would either face an enemy force or not face an enemy force, and kind of exploratory, like almost scouting forces ahead of the main force is what I would play. So sometimes they'd come into contact with somebody, sometimes they wouldn't, and then we'd roll up the scenario and see what I was doing and what I was facing, and then I would track individual characters and attribute skills and equipment to them, and just roll with that. So.
All right.
It's even more fun with an opponent, but it is doable solo. So.
I'm just looking through the. Let's see here. Skylar Gremlin says, I can't do historicals. I know myself well enough to know I would turn into a rivet counter. And I hate those guys.
So, Lead Pursuit podcast. I think it was Lead Pursuit. It might have been, no, it may have been Anything But a One. It was one of those two. Did an episode where they talked about umpiring games, or running a game, or things like that. And they talked to a guy from Little Wars TV, and he says anytime that he takes a game to convention, he has a test that he runs on his players, where he puts some sort of figure that for some reason is not right out on the table while he's setting up. And if anybody comments on it, he knows that's the person he has to keep a close eye on during the games.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's just, and I've said it before. Rivet counter, well, not a rivet counter, but a button polisher or whatever they're called for Napoleonics. One of those guys is the reason why I did not get into historical gaming for a very long time. And when I did, it was naval gaming. Now, I don't want to call myself a rivet counter, but I do like to make sure that the games or the ships that I'm using are painted in a proper format, so to speak. So right now I am working on getting the ships together for my what if battle of naval battle of Guadalcanal, and I'm looking to see how the different ships were painted circa November 1942. All the Japanese ships are easy gray, kind of a medium. I think it's the sea gray is what I'm going to be able to use for them. The Americans, on the other hand, are pretty much either measure 12 or measure 21, or measure 12 modified. And now, of course, at the scale that I'm running, there's not going to be a whole lot of difference, because this is
Everything looks black when you're that far away from something.
Yeah. So I mean,
dark gray.
This here is the New Orleans class cruiser. So to give you an idea of the size that we're looking at, I can get a decent approximation of what the color scheme, the camouflage will look like. This is one of the destroyers. It's the length of one of my knuckles on my hand. So, it's not going to be overly detailed, but, it's going to be, I want to be able to have it be kind of a representation of what the paint scheme will look like. Now, obviously, measure 21 is a lot easier. It's just straight up that dark navy blue on all the vertical surfaces, and the horizontal surfaces are all deck blue. And then the measure 12s are measure 12 and measure 12 modified is the navy blue below the main deck line, and a gray, a haze gray above that point. So, it's, again, when you're dealing with something that's small, that you're not going to get into too much detail. But again, I like to, have it be representative. I don't want to have a ship that is painted in the wrong scheme. But if it was, I really wouldn't care. I'm actually doing it more for the rivet counters that want to come sit at my table, because if you're going to be creating something that you want to ultimately sell, you got to know your audience. And my audience is going to be old bastards who are going to be able to look at my ships and say, "Hey, those are the wrong colors for that time frame." So, but also I'm really into, I am really into World War II naval combat, so it's not a huge deal for me to paint them correctly. Just like, Reese with his Vietnam stuff. He makes sure that the weapons that are being used are appropriate for the time frame. He was telling me the other day he had found a really cool modification for an M60 that he wanted to put on the table, but then he realized that didn't happen until 1980 something, so can't put it in a way.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't have known the difference, so it wouldn't have bothered me. But
See, I'm all over the place on that though, because I will meticulously build and kit bash a figure to match a historical photo.
Mhm.
I'm more than happy to put 1975 Chinese troops painted as NVA on my table.
right,
So
yeah.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah. Well, but again, we kind of have an idea of who is going to sit down at that table and in the second weekend of November, and it's gonna be these old bastards that are gonna tell you, well, in 1968 way, this particular version of the whatever is not. Shut up and just roll dice. So,
Or leave. It's not that hard.
yeah, exactly. Shut up, play the game, or go away. Your choice. Really, it's your choice. It's not that big of a deal. Warmut's sick. Oh, sorry, buddy.
Telemachus stole my joke.
Yeah, he said hello, sick. Nordic says hi, sick. I'm Nordic. Nice to meet you.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of sick, I got my flu shot today. Hexy, are we boring you to death? Do we need to know? Do we need to find out 911 for Falling Waters? There you go. Wake him up. You need to go to bed, Hexy.
Nah,
Yes.
we're about to start talking about Civil War. That makes it illegal for Jeff to go to sleep.
There you go.
So, in reference to your boats and the destroyer being, with the destroyer being the length of your knuckle, the BAR I just put together is twice that length.
You had to assemble a BAR?
Yes, because it's a resin kit, and the barrel and the handguard were separate from the receiver.
That legitimately sounds terrible.
It was. I debated just finding another hand and putting it
I'm
on
not
the guy and getting one of my VARs from my stash and just putting it in his hand. So
Actually, Nord's got a great question for you, Hexy. What is your favorite uniform of the ACW?
Battle of the Wolves.
What's
What?
that?
I think Jeffy just said the Battle of the Bulge.
No. What is your favorite? What is your favorite uniform of the AC from American Civil War?
Butternut?
They wore cotton. How many choices do I have?
I think Jeffy's
cotton.
favorite uniform was that Union Sergeant's uniform that was all dusty and muddy in April of '65. Maybe?
Yeah, probably not that one.
Oh, good deal, Chuck. I need to get over and catch up with what you're doing.
see, I was thinking it'd be like Wheat's Tigers or something with those hideous striped pants.
Swabs are pretty cool.
Wheat's Tigers. Those blue and white pants are fucking jazzed up, dog.
I painted some of those in college, and then we cooked some jambalaya, and they changed colors, and we're not really sure why.
Did you put it into the jambalaya?
Nope, we just cooked the jambalaya underneath the shelf they were on, and yeah.
We need to talk about miniature storage with this boy.
Well, it was a dorm room. We didn't have much in the way of cooking services or miniature storage.
Fair.
So,
Verdun's a good choice.
Walcott says Verdan because it's green.
That's fair. Some of the Missouri units with weird sugar loaves. Honestly, the early war uniforms are the most cool. Because by the late war, you got guys just wearing whatever they could find. Or
was it the 11th Kansas that got sent out to Wyoming and then lost guys to the Sioux and then had to go back and fight in Arkansas or something?
Beats me, man. I like the Missouri uniform where either you have a white stripe on your hat or you don't. And if you have a white stripe on your hat, you shoot the guys who don't. If you don't have a white stripe on your hat, you shoot the guys who do. And that's the Missouri enlisted militia shooting and the Missouri state militia shooting the Missouri State Guard.
Was it like 1861 of like April or May at that point?
No, that's all the way through the war.
Goodness, did not know that.
When the Missouri enlisted militia uniform was quite literally just a white band on your hat. Because, fun fact, you don't see Missouri regiments participating much in the Civil War because, well, they didn't have to go very far.
Just down the street.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of awkward, super horrifying. Yeah.
So, speaking of interesting uniforms, most of y'all have already seen this on Sunday. Big Murray, I don't think you did. The famous photo of the execution on the streets of Saigon in '68.
I have seen it, yeah.
In the color film, the guy's in a red plaid shirt and blue jeans. So, based it off of that dude.
Did he wear shorts?
He probably is, but I didn't have enough shorts to go around.
Fair.
So,
well, there you go, buddy. Get some. You got General, what's his name?
I need an orphan guy with a snub nose.
Yeah. Issue is you put every snub-nosed revolver you have on your Jerry Schreiber model.
That is also true.
Yeah. You're going to have to throw that bad boy in the freezer and pop one of those things off.
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now. It might be doable.
I'm sure you don't have a single other snub-nose?
I don't have a single other snub nose, but I can cut down in 1917.
Yes, you can.
But the problem is, I think it was a hammerless, wasn't it? It was a Smith & Wesson hammerless.
You can cut that off there, too.
So,
There wasn't the 642 wasn't around, so it wasn't a shrouded hammer. So just knock the hammer off of it like it's a 637 or something. Hang on.
oh, it's one of those that the hammer's covered up on it, though. It's an internal hammer.
Is it?
I think so.
I didn't think the 42 was around. Oh, it is. Son of a bitch. Oh, no, it's not. It's a 6. Oh, what is that?
It's not a 642, but it's a...
it's not a 642. It's the shrouded hammer. That thing's got a toggle on it that you could cock the hammer to full. What is that? Those are not easy to find. It's not a 637. Is it a...
It is a Smith, though.
It is. Oh, shit. What are those called? What model is that? I had one for a minute.
I know. They're called pistols.
I'll pull it up here in a second. Sorry, I didn't mean to go down this rabbit hole.
No, that's fine.
638. Bam.
Is it a 638?
It is.
Okay.
Look at the hump.
Yeah, you're right. You were right.
Damn, man, that dude was pimping. That's got to be one of the first years that thing is available. I wonder if that's actually
It might be a
I mean, it'd be a Model 38 probably, although it's stainless.
Model 38, probably.
Smith & Wesson Model 38 Bodyguard. There you go. The original. I wonder when that was first put out.
I'm guessing 55. That's just my thought.
No, not the Bodyguard 38. Okay. Well, they've had. Oh, found it. Nan Ngoc Loan, South Vietnam's chief of national police, was photographed using a Model 49 Bodyguard. So the stainless guy before they just started releasing the 6 model number to execute a Vietnam prisoner, Nguyen Van Lam, during the Tet Offensive of 1968. Bam, there you go.
1957, it became
Boys.
the Bodyguard.
We found it. Well, there you go.
Well, I didn't mean to get us all. Hey, Bernie Getz used one. Didn't remember that.
Oh,
Anyway.
Absolutely. Yep.
So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to change the FEP on my printer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I moved. I changed the location of where the South Dakota was being printed. I'm still having errors on it.
Huh.
But the North Carolina is sitting right next to her on the print, on the plate, and came out fine.
Who knows, man?
So, yeah. And the fact that this was originally a 1/1800 scale STL, scaled down to 4800, still has this quality of of resolution is quite impressive, I think.
It is. And again, you're printing those for that game at 4800?
Yeah. Just because I can,
Fair.
you know.
Oh.
So, not quite as big as the 3000, not quite as small as the 6000. You know, kind of nice, even middle ground.
Yeah.
And Nord, yeah, you're definitely going to notice the after the ship being mostly missing. So, just yeah, not too good there. So I'll get it reprinted. I got to reprint the two San Diego class cruisers, and then I also got to get the Japanese ships done also. Well, we're considering none of our battleships after Pearl Harbor were ever sunk during World War II. Yeah, it wouldn't work too much. Now, if it was one of the Japanese ships, yeah, we could probably play it like that. But, you know.
Yeah. Then basically every major capital ship can be played like that.
Yeah. Now, this is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite Japanese models. Damn it.
Just put a finger on the stern and a finger on the bow, like you're holding up a toothpick.
Yeah. Do it this way. It's the Issei.
But it's battle carrier converted. There you go.
Yeah.
I was about to
the
say, it
app-
looks like a Fuso, but it's been converted. Aren't
Yeah,
they the
it's-
same?
Yeah, Issei and Hyuga.
Okay. No, but I mean, is the Issei a Fuso class?
No,
No?
it's
It's
ESA
Stone
is the
class,
ESA
isn't it?
class.
Yeah, my bad.
That's okay. Well, keep in mind that they did
It's
two
late for the McMurray.
two ship like every 6 months. They came out with a new class of battleship that was slightly different enough to make it be a different. They're kind of like the Americans in the during right after just before and right after World War One. Um, doing the same thing. So, no, Nora, I wasn't dropping my favorite ship. That is my favorite ship. To me, it's still the best looking ship, uh, best looking ship of its time.
BB-35?
You know it.
How did I know? Hell yeah.
Now, Missouri is a beautiful ship.
It
Missouri
is.
is a beautiful ship, and I think the Missouri was built for no other reason than, and I'm talking about all the Iowas. The Iowas were built for no other reason than we could.
It was
Because-
certainly a flex, but also I feel like this is a fun random tangent. I would argue that especially late war, the only reason that U.S. battleships, especially that were either production of Colorado, South Dakota, and afterwards, or that it had major refits. The only reason that they were ever in any danger of taking serious losses from aircraft is because they were relegated to detached carrier duty. Right? Because think about that. Even when they were chained to carriers, which they were always chained to carriers in bombardment groups. Even then, such an obscenely small number of even kamikazes got to them. Now imagine that, that Iowa is just happily chugging along downwind. So all of a sudden, attack planes are losing it instead of gaining speed, essentially. And then all the anti-aircraft opens up, right?
Yeah.
Especially late war when American air search and air targeting radar automatically fed into fire control computers. Like,
Yep.
that's the end of the game, man. Between, anywhere between 40 to 50, 40 millimeter Bofors tubes, you got 60, 20 millimeter or something does get close enough. Then all of a sudden you got, guys going, nope, point this right at that thing and just blow the shit out of it. And then especially on the Iowas, anywhere between 60 and 20 5-inch 38s. Nah, sorry, man. Like, that's the end of it. You get 5-inch 38s firing radar proximity fuses.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Game over. Game over. Like,
Yeah,
there's no way.
They had 20 5-inch guns, 40 40 millimeter guns, and 49 20 millimeter guns.
On paper. You know how many 20 millimeter Oerlikons were crammed on every available inch of deck, crammed on top of, your super firing turrets. When you have farms of 20 millimeter tubs on top of super firing turrets, like, that's just absurd.
Oh yeah.
That's the epitome of dive bomber, go for it. Go for it, dive bomber, but we're currently trolling along at 32 knots, which means you got to get close as shit to drop that thing and have a snowball's chance in hell of getting, within splinter distance of my ship. But that also means that you're diving to within 2,000 or 1,000 yards or feet of my ship when there's God knows how many 20 millimeter just emptying at you. The fact that most U.S. ships could put up a couple tons of steel into the air in a matter of 30 seconds to a minute, just out of projectile weight, is absurd. And we lost Jeffy. I'm sorry, buddy.
No, I think he bounced out because he was tired.
Jeffy was tired, but the ship talk doesn't ever help. But
No.
yeah, the sheer amount of anti-aircraft fire that could get put up by a late war U.S. battleship, in combination with the just incredible fire control, is insane and fantastic. And again, that's another one of those. And actually, while we're at it, we're gonna just toss that shout out to Missouri or Iowa or any other Iowa. In my mind, still unquestioningly being able to just smack the fuck out of a Yamato. Everything, aside from 2 inches of shell caliber, is better. Not
Right.
equal, is better,
Oh yeah.
right? The overall construction, I'd argue, is superior. Again, you've got a belt that might be a little bit thicker, but at the same time, these things are going to be engaging at ranges where belt armor is not a concern. God forbid it happens at night or in a rain squall, because then it's just an absolute laughing stock of anything, right?
Yeah. Well,
Because for
even-
all the exact same reasons. Okay, so here, one of my favorite statistics, right, and just fun facts is every single Fletcher class destroyer. I can't say every single Fletcher class destroyers in the Pacific at the time of Yamato's launch all had superior surface search, air search, and targeting radar. Right?
Yeah.
In terms of range, precision, the fact that it wouldn't just tell you a location, but would tell you the bearing and size of the enemy vessel, the speed of that vessel, and then would automatically feed into a target computer. It's hilariously laughable, man. Like, by the time the Yamato got into combat operations, its radar was being shown up by the radar attached to USPT boats.
Right.
Like, it truly is laughable. People, it's the epitome of the world of tanks problem, right? Where, it's got, 16 inches of armor and 18-inch guns. That's awesome. Doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't matter whatsoever. People make a huge deal out of the Shikaze or whatever shells that were essentially just great big fireworks that were supposed to be the end-all, be-all of anti-aircraft fire because it could be fired out of Yamato's main guns.
Oh yeah, the giant beehive rounds.
Yes, super cool. Fun fact, didn't hit a single fucking plane when either Yamato or Musashi were sunk. Like, that's pretty cool. Except that it's not. Except for the Japanese 1.1-inch anti-aircraft gun, despite being, 9 millimeters to a centimeter bigger in caliber than the American 20 millimeter Ehrlichons, was, again, laughably outclassed by that 20 millimeter Ehrlichen.
Yeah, because who built that? Swedes? Swiss?
Yes. Yeah, the Ehrlichen. Or at least
Yeah.
that was the original design. It was then
Right.
purchased by the U.S. for manufacture under license and improved, just like the Bofors. But, I mean, everything is better. Like, right down to the tactical doctrine. And the Japanese knew it. They spent this whole time building these super ships just to send them one-way tickets to try and maybe beach themselves and act as beached batteries, because they knew that they couldn't be floating batteries because they'd immediately be fucking just cock-slapped and sunk. And then what happens? Cock-slapped and sunk. Showed up by a bunch of fucking destroyer escorts.
I have no idea how what's his name, the admiral or the captain of Yamato, didn't just open his guts after Samar. Like,
oh, yeah.
bro, you officially fucking suck.
That's like
not
a bear.
only
It's like a bear being run off by a pack of chihuahuas.
no, it's like a bear getting the shit kicked out of it by a pack of chihuahuas, and then finally it manages to swipe one of them. Like
Yeah.
all of the bear's cubs got eaten by those chihuahuas, and then they did the Halo teabagging dance on them.
Right.
Like the fact that the best, surface warfare officers, gunnery officers, everything in the Japanese Navy looked at a bunch of destroyers and destroyer escorts and was like, "Oh yeah, dude, battleships, dog. Fuck yeah, dude. Get out of here." The level of just obnoxious, like that's amateur hour to the point of a little kid on World of Warships would be like, "Yeah, that's not a battleship." It's I don't know. I mean, you can't just waltz back and make fun of people in history because it's not a nice thing to do. But at the same time, at some point in time, when something sucks that bad, you kind of just have to be like, "Yeah, that sucks, dude."
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Reese, you okay over there, buddy?
Yeah, I just went down a wormhole.
Oh,
Sorry.
what'd you find?
You went down a wormhole, or we went down a wormhole?
No, I did on Hammerless 38. Or Hammerless 38.
Yeah. So those are really cool because the 638s now, the top of the hammer, it's knurled, so you can still reach it. Like you can still utilize it.
Oh, I was moved on to the Colt Cobra with the hammer shroud.
Oh, there you go.
The old ones.
Ultimately, Fitz specials are still the best revolvers that were ever made.
I agree.
But
I was looking at Jack Ruby's the only reason I did that. So
there you go.
anyway, sorry.
When I worked at the range, we were bootleg hand making, or bootleg hand converting Fitzes out of like Smith & Wesson 637s. It was quite entertaining. I almost said impressive. It was not impressive.
If I could get my hands on an old Brazilian 1917, I'd be happy with that.
Any 1917 would be fantastic, mainly because it'll actually take full power 45 ACP, unlike my Webleys.
I saw one that had been converted to a 38 special pretty crudely.
A Webley?
No, 1917 Victory model.
Oh, yeah.
It was whatever the British 38 caliber was, and then they put
38 Smith & Wesson.
Yeah, and they put a 38 special cylinder in it. I don't know. It didn't look like it was all that well done. I thought about getting it and redoing it, but
That'd be cool. You'd probably have to shoot wad cutters out of it, but that's worth it.
I'd be fine with that. I got a bunch of 38 wad cutters.
Well, not only that, but wad cutters are about the easiest thing on earth to hand load and do everything else with. Given you don't even have to shoot them with gas jacks.
I've got my uncle's old sketchy wad cutter self defense loads.
I mean, they work. It sounds silly, but like if it was good enough for Elmer Keith, it's probably good enough for everybody else.
They're so old, you shoot them and the primer flies out of the back.
Just don't have to crimp in, man. It's okay.
It's all right. But anyway, sorry. Back on topic, and not just McMurray and I talking about obscure firearms.
Fun fact, Nord. I have not played Guderian's Blitzkrieg First Edition. Todd does have a copy of it that I gave to him, so it's entirely possible that we will play that at some point in time. But I have not. No. But fun fact, Nord, I was thinking one of the things I was thinking about for March to Victory next year, if we wind up with both levels or all three levels even of the game store, was trying to convince Jay and Robin to let me run either 1/600 or 1/1200 scale naval game using the platform. So the question is, if I do it 1/600, then I can't use battleships because they're way too big for the platforms.
Right.
But if I do 1/1200,
and we can really get after it.
Yeah.
You're exactly right, Telemachus.
Because this is USS Texas in 1200.
Oh, that's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. And the Gukek files print very nicely at 1200. That's fantastic. I went looking again for the Airfix Sink the Bismarck set, and I think the one I was looking at went down, and another one will pop up at some point in time. It's not a particularly expensive set.
Yeah.
It just doesn't pop up very often. So if anybody has one of those sitting around or has seen one of those recently or knows somebody who has one on a shelf, holler, let me know. Hopefully I had better success finding that than I did finding that lock and load tactical French and Indian war game, but that's okay.
I
know there's-
wonder how a World War II game where the ground battle is taking place on one table and the air battle is taking place on another table. I wonder how that would go over.
Pretty good. Jay did that with Star Wars stuff a couple years
What's
ago
that?
on May the 4th.
Doing a World War II game with two tables where they're linked, with
Oh,
the
yeah.
air combat taking place on one table and the ground combat taking place on another.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And not by any means making one table wait on the other. Wherever you're at, you're at. So
The other
Yep.
fun part you'd always do is have a naval game, and then whoever wins just wins the ground game because all of a sudden everything just disappears.
it'd be interesting. I don't have the stuff to do much of a naval game for any convention.
I feel like that can be covered.
I've got the stuff from the Guadalcanal stuff that Chris gave me. But anyway, having my Hex air game played on the same table as the naval games going though, and having no interaction between the two would just be comical chaos. Bunch of guys bumping around each other and nobody knows what's going. Can I shoot at that? No, you can't.
Absolutely not. Go away.
Ignore the 1600 Corsair that's buzzing your 14800 scale destroyer.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's what I forgot to tell you guys. Hellcat buzzed us at work today in F6F.
What?
So that was cool. At least that's what I believe it was.
Where on earth did you guys find an F6F in Northwest Arkansas?
Man, we got Walton money. We had a Bearcat here for a couple of months.
That's fair.
We also have the only Super Corsair left flying because it's owned by a Walton.
Fair. I can only imagine that's what it's like being a cattle farmer in parts of Australia or New Zealand, wherever Peter Jackson lives.
Yeah.
Like, is that a fucking stop with camel? Why is it shooting lasers at a Fokker? I'm like,
Because it can.
yeah, that'll be wild. Just like being on the ground and not realizing that Peter Jackson was going to be using his full-scale World War I airplanes with glorified Miles gear on them. And you just like look up and it's like, what the shit?
So, Richard, the Arkansas Air Guard is actually in Fort Smith. And I'm a little bit north of there. And no, the Air Guard is not still using prop planes in Arkansas. That would be it's not the Confederate Air Force anymore. It's the Commemorative Air Force. But
Nord.
I was going to make the joke.
You're killing me, Nord. Each base is a
Good
company.
God.
Yeah.
Where each base is a company?
Nord, they
That was-
haven't graduated out from trying to put feathery crap on wings.
We got
For the,
enough. We got enough
Icarus.
bluffs up here in the Ozarks. Most people just take a flying leap off of them.
Accurate. They're true. Well, I'll tell you what, Nord. I'll paint my first 1,000 bases for it this year, and then maybe in a year or two I'll try and write a game for it. On the bright side, we could play it on the floor and just clean up the casualties with a dust mop.
There you go.
Get a push broom going. Let's see. Good Lord. Battle of the Somme. Oh. Well, hell, between the British and the French, there were only 24 divisions at the start of the battle. I don't know why I'm complaining. Almost 60,000 casualties suffered by the British alone. I don't know, Nord. That's only like 600 bases of casualties on the first day alone for the British.
No, Nord, that didn't get me. That one sent me searching. We're on C-130s and Reaper drones right now.
Oh,
So
Yikes.
we used to have A-10s, but we changed them out for drones. I don't know why. I love A-10s.
everybody loves A-10s.
And when they were, because I believe that they got stationed overseas during Iraq, they painted a giant Razorback on top of one of their hangars.
That's pretty awesome. I bet they learned to fly. Or read, sorry. That is what happens, Nord. You're not wrong. But
No, they were sent to Bagram. They were not in Iraq. They were in Afghanistan. But they had A-10s and they had a hangar with a Razorback painted on top of it.
I thought you were still talking about the Somme. I was like, no, they were not sent to Bagram, Reese. Sorry.
Back in my day.
I hate to tell you.
We didn't need these fancy black rifles.
Yeah.
Bayonet. You have to use the bayonet.
Yeah. Good Lord. But yeah, Chris, that's what I was doing all that reading about the 9th Battleship Division, though, and then the 6th Battle Squadron, was to try and figure out if it was worth putting, 4 U.S. battleships and maybe a light cruiser and some destroyers against, 4 or 5 German battle cruisers and then some destroyers. Because that could be pretty wonderful. Like,
All right, so let's see.
that would make me happy.
I just put a USS Missouri in 1/1200th scale onto my build plate.
Oh yeah, you got to angle that bitch.
Angled it a bit, and put supports on it. It would take about 6 hours to print.
Yeah, what'd you have to angle that thing at? Like 35 degrees?
What did I get it at? So
I take that back. It's going to be way higher than that. Because I had to do Revenge at like 20 degrees. So that's going to be like 45. Maybe even more.
It's at 45 and
Yep.
45 this way, and then 27 this way.
Yeah, to get it into the diagonal.
Yeah.
Yep. I was about to say 27 is my magic number. For getting things to sit on the diagonal as well.
So, but yeah, it'd be a 6 hour print to get her done.
Yeah, dude, that's because that build plate's going to build up 6 inches off the plate.
Yeah,
4 inches
like
off the
that.
plate.
It's let's see.
Just look at your x-axis in the scale.
Oh yeah. My x-axis back. No, go away. Cancel.
Yeah. So click the little scales, the like magnifying glass guy, and then just check your x-axis. That'll tell you how tall the the plate is, or the print. Excuse me.
172 millimeters.
Holy shit! That's like 7 inches. No, it's not.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just under 6. My bad.
Yeah.
Just under 6.
Yeah. So.
That is large and in charge.
Yeah,
Especially considering that's on a 45-degree angle. Granted, then bumped up 5 millimeters. Obviously, we're not savages.
Right. But yeah,
But-
she's a doozy.
Just a big girl.
She's a doozy. I'm contemplating what scale to. I think I might do that for what I'm gonna give Reese.
1/1200.
A 1/1200 scale Arkansas.
Oh,
That'd be nice.
all the turrets. Well, not all the turrets, but a lot of turrets.
A shit ton of turrets. I mean, it's no what's that one that the Brits had in World War I?
Agincourt.
Yeah, the Agincourt with its like 37 fucking turrets.
Yeah, 100%. 7 turrets, 14-inch guns, or 14.
Yeah.
What was it? Were they 14s or 12s? I think they're 12s, but yeah,
Either way, it was all the fucking turrets.
it's a lot of turrets. Yes, correct.
Um,
And still laid out better than the Marats or the Gengets.
oh, the Gengets are fucking horrible, dude.
God, they're so ugly, man. They're so ugly. We're gonna make an entirely flush deck battleship that's got like 4 decks out of the water, and then instead of having a superstructure, it's just gonna be a football field with turrets sitting on it.
Yeah. It's
Go home.
yeah, it's
Best
it's,
thing any Nazi ever did was Hans Ulrich Rudel sinking the Murat. Gross. I will never forget, like, the first IPMS show I ever went to was somebody who had entered a Murat, and it was just like the tip tops of masts with a single Stuka flying over. It was water, tip tops of masts, and 1 Stuka.
nice.
Legendary. Absolutely legendary, I tell you. Like that dude wins some sort of troll something or other.
Yeah, the Ganget class is just I don't know, man. It's
Well, the communists couldn't borrow ideas or concepts or anything from anybody who had any idea what the hell they're doing because they were all capitalist pigs. And unfortunately, when the last thing you designed remotely domestically was a 1860s monitor, other than
Yeah.
circle ships, the Novigrads and shit were their other, just that was their previous monumental naval development. Was we're gonna build ships that are circles and they're totally not gonna fuck up. Morgan Freeman voice, they totally fucked up.
yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, just you guys suck. So bad. Jesus. I was talking about doing something with that too, with Gobin and Breslau, just smacking up the Black Sea Fleet.
Right.
But somebody would certainly get butthurt about that, so I'm not doing that.
I apologize for yawning so much, y'all.
For the what?
For yawning so much.
Well, we've been talking about boats for like probably an hour now.
No, I'm still exhausted from working cows yesterday.
Just as a reminder, you're not supposed to work those the same way you did the turkeys. I know you get confused
Exactly.
sometimes.
No, well, castration was a big part of yesterday.
Well, my condolences, but you'll get better.
No, it wasn't me. I was the one doing it to others.
My condolences, you'll get better.
Anyway,
I'm sorry you had to hold so many balls yesterday.
that's okay. Our good cow dog ate most of them. So he'd just wait by the head gate until we were done, and we'd throw him over the top and he'd catch him in the air.
A hog?
No, a dog.
Oh. Growing fat on the nutsacks of others, baby.
Yeah, so I can get the Arkansas in 1/1200 scale without having to
Yeah.
having to angle it.
Yeah. What are you putting that on? Your Mars?
Yeah, Mars 3 Pro.
Yeah.
No, Nord, I'm not the guy that killed John Wilkes Booth. But anyway, that's another story.
Jesus. Did you beat up Dr. Mudd?
No.
You're not wrong. It wasn't Morgan Freeman's voice, but yeah. No, we'll just know when Reach is like talking real high pitched and his wife says they're missing a rubber band. That's how we'll know.
I wish we banded yesterday.
Oh,
We
that's
did not
gross.
band, we cut.
That's fucked up. Jesus Christ. Where were we? Do you have the World War II Arkansas? I don't know if that makes me curious as to whether or not the broadsides Kickstarters have the World War I Arkansas, or the immediate post-war Arkansas, I guess.
Yeah, I've got World
No.
War One or World War II.
No. Arkansas was around in World War One. It just didn't get sent over across the Atlantic because it was oil burning, not coal.
Right.
Right? That's gonna bug me.
No, it was attached to the British Grand Fleet.
Yeah, I was about to say, never mind. I think it was. Yeah, it was the Wyoming, wasn't it? Yeah, so it was pre Texas. It was one of the ones because Texas didn't get over for that chunk. Texas did make it across, but not that quick. New York was there
reason
from the
we have a
start.
state flag.
What's up?
The USS Arkansas is the only reason that Arkansas has a state flag.
Correct. It's also the only reason most people in Arkansas know that there's oceans. But yes, that is also entirely true for those of you who might be watching this or listening in disbelief. The state of Arkansas, despite the fact that by 1914 it had existed for how long?
A while.
Yeah, correct.
1835 to 1914, you said?
Yes.
That would be,
Wait, you said it was 1835?
I believe so.
79 years these dinguses didn't realize they were supposed to put a rag on top of their Capitol building. And then finally the Navy's like, so you got a flag?
Well, you realize that we fought battles over our own Capitol building at one point. We were too busy
You'd
shooting.
think you'd at least have a flag to raise over it.
No, we just put a cannon on the front yard of it and said, it's ours now.
Jesus, Mary, Joseph.
I'm not even exaggerating. That's Arkansas history.
I'm aware.
And we're not allowed to do that, Nord, on YouTube for a lot of different reasons. But anyway.
Correct. Some people would pay extra on Scala. Good call. All right, let's see here. So we do. So okay. Now that I'm thinking about it, I want to say that both Arkansas and Wyoming, as well as New York, and I don't know, or did Arkansas come over to replace?
Delaware.
No, I know. I'm trying to think who all was in the 6th Battle Squadron. There we go. History. Okay, so originally it was Florida, Wyoming, New York, Delaware. which I think were all ships of their own classes. Yes, they were. And then Arkansas replaced Delaware, but that was right before the end of the war. I think Texas got there first, if I recall correctly. Yeah. God, that's awesome. That's fantastic.
You saying you're going to use Arkansas?
Me, I don't know. By July 1918, the Germans were not leaving port.
Yeah, throw them all in there.
I'll certainly print one. But yeah, the Germans were not leaving port. Hell, that might have been after a mutiny or two, to be honest with you. Yeah. Yeah, because that's real late in the war when everybody was thoroughly convinced that they were going to try and do some Texel type shit to just throw away on a death ride, and nobody wanted to do that. Even less so than the Luftwaffe at the end of World War II, which is impressive because they too were not super duper pumped for the whole like Eagle Day idea. But yeah, I have watched the Drac Battle of Texel video enough times that I seriously considered playing that with Siegfried Pachem by David Manley, playing an entire fleet battle of the maybe could have happened Battle of Texel. That would be ridiculous. CV Pachem, that's what it is. But yeah.
You know what I should do after I finish up my Vietnam craze or whatever?
Start playing a real man's scale, like 1/6000 naval.
I'm thinking like Philippines campaign.
Like World War II or 1890s?
Both. Why not?
Fair.
But World War II. But you reminded me I've got all those Spanish-American war figures in that box over there. So.
Yep.
That'd be fun.
It would be cool.
But if I do that, I'd be too tempted to make it World War 1898.
What?
If I did that, I'd be way too tempted to make it World War 1898.
Fair. But you also really want to do that, so.
I really do, but I'm not ready. Late war, Nord.
Yeah.
Late war Philippines very much appeals to me and always has. Now, I will be using my World War II Marines to stand in for my GIs, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Man, I am staring down the ball sack of this 1700 Tamaya HMS Nelson, though, and that's badass. I need to set this back aside. You can stay over there looking pretty, little buddy.
Nelson is a kick-ass boat.
So do I put Ottoman and German advisors in the Philippines in 1900?
I mean, probably.
I'd say let's do it. I just need some Moro figures. So.
If you give them selective enough weapons, you could probably use them again in World War II as Coast Watchers.
My scales are different.
What?
My scales are slightly different.
Okay. Isn't your Spanish-American war stuff slightly smaller?
Slightly larger.
Oh.
So my colonial stuff and my Civil War runs about 132 to 130th, and my World War, half my World War One is in one scale, half my World War One is in another, but that's a different story. But then World War II and later runs true 135th, which you wouldn't think you could tell the difference, but you very much can. I'll be right back. Actually, I forgot I've got them right in front of me. So let's see. Here's a Navy SEAL in 135th, and here's a general in 130th, roughly.
Yeah,
I'm about to say, like you're looking at a 20% difference almost.
Yeah.
It is substantially different.
It's not doable.
It's a whole head taller.
It is the same difference of a
20 to 28 millimeter.
Space Marine to a 135th. Yes, I have painted one GW figure. Oh, shoot. That might be 0 at this point now. I could, but it's not worth it. If I had figures that were 135th scale Moros, I could probably use them, because weren't they a little bit shorter than...
Yes,
Okay.
that was my point. Is if it was the opposite, you could still totally use them.
Yeah. I don't know where I would get figures for that, though.
Yeah.
Armies in plastic. Here we go again. Let's see what you got new that I will probably end up spending money on next year. They made a 4.7 gun.
A mountain gun?
No. Naval. 4.7 naval.
Oh, really?
Who did this?
Armies in plastic. Finally.
That's a weird caliber. So for like Spanish American War period?
So the 4.7 inch is the naval gun that the Brits hauled off their ships and put on carriages and used during the Boer War and other things like that.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I-
So like Siege of Ladysmith.
Yes, I want one of those. I want a lot of those. They're a little expensive.
I was about to say that's That's certainly far earlier. That's an anti-torpedo boat gun.
Love those guns. Let's see. No, the only thing they have from Spanish American War right now is the Rough Riders and then the Spanish. But let's look at my Boxer Rebellion. I might be able to come up with something. I've got plenty of Boxers, but I don't think that'll work for Moros.
Speaking of Rough Riders, you know where the Rough Riders were drawn up?
Wouldn't it Billy Bob's?
Nope. The Minger Hotel across the street from the Alamo.
Oh. For some reason, I thought it was either Billy Bob's or Gillies. And I couldn't.
No. No, the Minger Hotel in downtown San Antonio, literally across the street from the Alamo. And if you are one to believe in the supernatural, the Minger Hotel is quite haunted.
I've been to Eureka Springs, Arkansas. The Crescent Hotel is very much haunted. So yes, I believe it.
Nord, if I could find a good STL that would print well in 1/600 scale, I think that'd be kind of cool. Do PT boat operations in the Philippines.
I keep looking at getting a 135th scale PT boat, but they're just too expensive.
I think it would be ginormous.
They make them.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Comes in a Monopoly box.
So I'm trying to find actual pictures of Moros.
It's not super duper easy. They weren't the biggest fans of most things modern or Western, like cameras.
Yeah, and the dead ones are kind of hard to tell what they're wearing.
Fair.
So Kobe makes a 1/35th scale PT 109 for $100,
That's not bad.
but it's Lego, basically.
Oh, never mind then.
Hey, all the stuff moves on it. Kobe makes some pretty cool stuff. They do all the things that Lego won't do, like tanks and battleships and whatnot.
Yeah.
Brick Arms is pretty cool too. They make stuff to give to your. Italy makes one. It's
Yeah.
$200.
And you can get the PT boat crew figures for $25.95.
Oh, so it doesn't even come with the crew.
No, you gotta buy that separate.
No. But the crew might make some good kit bash stuff.
Yes, it would.
Let's see. Come on, open up. Open.
Those sailors and
Sesame.
stuff. Give them Grands or no, I'd give them Springfields.
Oh, I'm about to say that, or just swap a head or two out and give them M16s and do a full blown Apocalypse Now shit.
No, I've got
Oh, fucking open.
gunboat crews
Oh, there you go.
because I've got a 135th scale gunboat. It's done.
A fast boat, a PBR.
Yeah.
Sorry, those are two different things, but yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's a PBR. I cut it down to the waterline.
nice.
I would do the same thing with this, which would be a shame to do with such an expensive model that has
Yeah,
all the other stuff. I wonder if I could find one half built on eBay.
I'm about to say that'd be the thing to do. Would just be troll eBay for a year or so until somebody puts one up that,
That's
Grandpa
pretty-
got halfway done, and then yeah.
Anyway,
Such is life.
that is life.
Grandpa would appreciate somebody using it.
He would, and if he wasn't a hobby gamer, he would probably turn into one. Okay, why do I do price shipping lowest and then the $300 boat still shows up before the $15 thing?
Because the $115 or the $300 boat has free shipping, and the $115 boat has $185 shipping.
I could get a wooden 1/30th scale PT 109, but that seems like too much work.
It's a lot of work. It's
But
also
it's
going to be
also-
hard to waterline.
Currently $50. Might be worth it.
Wait, is it assembled?
No,
Oh,
if it was, I'd just take a bandsaw to it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of 172 scale PT 109s that would be fun to work with. Hey, here's one. Oh no, that's just the RC upgrade kit. Never mind.
I'm about to say I have Old Glory makes a pretty passable PT 109 that's not quite full 28 mil, but who gives a shit at that point in time? Like, it's a cool looking model.
Italeri also made an Elco 80 PT 596 in 135th scale.
That's pretty badass.
That is pretty cool.
Hey,
I don't know
here you
enough
go.
about it. But
Richard Keenan says, speaking of the Minger Hotel, Spotify randomly played Gary P. and What I Like About Texas last night.
nice.
One of the all-time great songs. He says it perfectly. So, yeah. All right, here we go. The U.S. Elco class PT boat STL file for $3. Early model of the World War II American Elco class torpedo boat with two sets of twin 50s, offset gun turrets and 20mm cannon on the rear deck, as well as 4 torpedoes. There you go. So yeah, they make them. I don't know what scale it's in.
Yeah. I'm not. I don't think I could do it for under $150 in plastic.
Yeah. Again, you'd have to either get lucky creeping on YouTube or like, again, stock IPMS shows for a year or so and just hope you see one.
Hey, Italeri's got a different set of PT boat crewmen, and they're all in the flak jackets and helmets, and some of them are on like the crude weapons and stuff. That might be cool.
That's pretty badass.
It is. Mix that in with PT 109 and a box of U.S. Marines, and I'd be good to go. Do some shore patrol type stuff. Always like those denim uniforms.
And then you can just run ashore and kill some Japanese and run back out. Have a wonderful time.
I need to rebase a bunch of my stuff that's still on rectangle bases.
Have you tried pulling any of them off yet?
Yeah, because they're on modified like poster board bases.
Okay, so they come off pretty easy.
Poster board rips, and I just take a file and get the poster board off and re-glue it to plastic.
There you go.
So we'll see. Because I've got a whole U.S. winter 1940. Well, I built it so I could use it for Korea or World War II. So it's a little bit sketchy on some stuff. But I've got a whole maybe 20 figures of that. So that's what I've really started trying on my figures was when I built those. I want to modify a bunch of British 8th Army to be Australians in the Pacific.
Nice. That'd be cool.
I'm using some Anzac sprues from World War One and Two. So,
That's super awesome. You giving them like the original model Thompsons and whatnot? Go full blown? Or do you have some Owens?
some of them, yes. I have a few Owens. I paid a pretty penny for them. Haven't used them yet, but I've got them. And I've given them a bunch of Mark 1, number 3, or number 1, Mark 3 infields too.
Mm-hmm.
So, just some crazy stuff like that. Hang on, I've got 1 or 2 of them laying around. We'll be right back.
Mm.
There you go. 1/300 scale Elco 77-foot PT boat for $0 download. Can't beat that. Let's see how they look here.
And Nord, yes, I do use 135th tanks and vehicles, but I use 148th aircraft. So, here's a couple I did. They're not perfect by any means, but they'll do for what I use them for.
Hell yeah.
So, obviously, one guy's got puttees on, and I'm not sure that the Australians use puttees in World War II, but it is
I'm sure
what-
somebody did.
Yeah, the other guy's got a pair of shorts on, so. But I mean, you could use that guy for just about anything.
I
Number,
would say that could be like a Malayan incident thing almost.
yeah, with the bandolier and the shorts and the Wedley, absolutely. All he needs is a buddy with an Auto 5.
Yeah.
So, which if you ever do find an Auto 5 STL like that could be sized up, let me know.
Yep. It would be hard to do. I would imagine that my best bet would be like War Games Atlantic, maybe doing one at some point.
I don't know. It wasn't exactly a combat shotgun.
Yeah, but they have a lot of weird shit, and they quite frequently take like stuff that isn't exactly right and put it in. So it wouldn't surprise me if something close to an A5 was done up.
Colts 3D. Wouldn't you know it? Except it won't let me pull up the link that I clicked on for some reason. Why is it?
Oh yeah, sometimes it takes a minute. So
says it's
sometimes I have to
gone.
come back and click on them.
That's weird. That's weird. The picture's not bad.
Oh God, you had to ask Nord. Thanks.
Vietnam built or on the table to be built? Because built, it's really only one Huey and one Loach and one PBR and one 48. To be built, I've got T-34s to cross the border with. I don't know how many I've got. I think 2 or 3. I've got, I think it's up to 7 Hueys to be built. 2 M113s to be built. Oh, I forgot. I've got like the Navy SEAL support craft. I've got 1 or 2 of those built. I've got 1 or 2 to be built. So, Delta operations are something I have a lot for, but I've done absolutely none of. So,
Oh, and then like 40 sampans, because of course.
what'd you say?
I was kidding. I said, oh, and then like 40 sampans. But
Oh, not yet. Not yet.
no, it's a joke. I know.
Well, my mother was a Texan, so that might have something to do with it.
With the sampans?
No, with Nord's comment, everything's bigger and better in Texas and not Arkansas.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know if the Texans are super big fans of the sampan. I don't know.
Well, like Lyle Lovett says, no, you're not from Texas, but Texas wants you anyway.
Oh, I thought you said if I had a boat.
No.
That's
No.
another song.
No. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. I want to thank y'all for joining and sharing y'all's why you play the games.
Yeah, shout out to Nord. Nord was rocking it today.
Yeah, it was. Thanks, buddy. Sorry your knee's hurting. Donna's knee's been bugging her too lately. So the doctor finally said, well, why don't we just go ahead and put a brace with metal stays on it and see if that helps. Yeah, because it's not arthritis, you bastards. Anyway. But yeah, things are going good here. I cannot find my dark green to paint my A37, so I think I'm gonna have to spray it dark green for the base color. I don't know. I'll figure something out. Anyway,
You're looking for U.S. dark green?
yeah, that's not helping me when you're like 6.5 hours away.
Here, catch.
Yeah, thanks. I wish it was that easy. But all right, guys, I want to thank y'all once again. You guys are great. Reese, McMurray, thanks for hopping on here with me tonight. Hexy, get some rest if you're still out there watching. And until next time, we'll see you on the flip side.
Night, guys. See you, Polly.
All right.